the hell is he doing here?
Have you all gone mad?
Afraid so. Fucking mad. Entirely bonkers.
Gonna take you down, deep down to the front line.
Yo. Welcome to another episode of In the Mind of Madness. I'm your host, V. Thank you again for joining me. I really do appreciate it. It's still hot as shit. Today was like 37 degrees Celsius. It's just fucking holy shit. And if you don't know Celsius, it's a lot of Fahrenheit. Like hot. I think like 100 something. Is that? I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty accurate guess, I hope. So yeah, alright. We're gonna pick it off here. So I saw my ex the other day. This is the most recent one. This one picked up and left. I think it was like, yeah, it's the day I got arrested. Well, the night I got arrested. I don't know. We got into a little argument, I guess. And then it's when I got arrested, went to jail for the night, and then when I got out, as the one where my sister had to be post my bail and shit. It was fucked, but then we talked on the phone. I talked to my ex on the phone, and then it seemed like we were good, and then I thought it was all good. And I came home, and then she was apparently at work, and then I need to offload the rest of my merchandise because I had to close up shop for a bit after that arrest. So I went to go deliver the last of my product to my VA guy, and then I don't know, almost about like the last of my stock was like $1,200. It was a good last off sale, so it lasted me a bit. And then yeah, after I got arrested though, they took all the fucking toolboxes I had in the back of my truck. Oh man. But I'm just glad they didn't search the inside of my fucking truck, because then it would have been worse, whatever the fuck they found in there. So thank God the truck was clean, because yeah, if that truck didn't come back clean, I would have been fucked. I would have been totally fucking fucked. I had shit in the car, so I had like fucking, I would have had like gun charges, I would have had drug charges, I would have had fucking stolen fucking possession of property obtained by crime again, fucking all this bullshit. It's crazy because I've had a couple of near misses with cars, but that's another story. Like not with my current car right now too. So that's a story for another time. Anyway, yeah, after they took all the shit in the back of my truck, I just sold off whatever. They didn't get what was in the toolbox, so sold that off. But then after the sale, I got home, and I came home, and all their shit was gone. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, nothing. Just picked up and left. Yeah, and that was within the fucking... I wasn't even gone for more than... I was gone for like maybe 2 hours, because I had to go out west for a bit, and then it's always fucking traffic coming back from there. But yeah, I fucking came home to like house half empty. I was like, what the fuck? Tried calling her and shit. Nothing. Wouldn't even pick up my calls. There was like one place she would go to, and then I went to go see if she would, just at least like explain what the fuck. And then nothing. Her uncle answered the door. I was like, yeah, I don't know who you're talking about. I was like, shut the fuck up, man. I drop her off here like all the time, bro. And then tell me you don't know who that fuck that is. That's fucked up. But yeah, so then I just left, and then I was like, alright, cool. And then I haven't spoken, and then I was going nuts though, I'm not gonna lie. That was fucked up. And I already have like a fucking attachment issues with people leaving because of my whole fucking thing with my dad growing up and all that shit. And then yeah, but it's not a problem I usually tell people, but I do have like thing when people leave. I don't know why, like I just get like so fucking shit. I feel like shit. It's just like, man, and it's like anxiety, I guess. I think maybe that's why I I'm very overly hospitable when people are here, just because like I want them to be like, I overcompensate so they don't end up wanting to leave. You know, that's something I've never said out loud, but I've always thought that. But I feel like that it stems back to all that bullshit. Has to, right? So yeah. But yeah, I was going wild. Like I was wild and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then she just wouldn't speak to me. I forgot how long it was. Maybe it was like 2 days before I actually like got to speak to her or some shit. And then she was giving a bunch of like different reasons from shit like that done like way back. And I'm like, why do you only choose to leave now? I was like, what the fuck? And then why didn't you tell me that these were issues before? Because I brought them up and then you said it's fine. Some of the shit, or like it was a different story, and then all of a sudden now you're telling me that that's the reason. I was like, what? It's stupid, but yeah, you could have just like told me that. But yeah, a lot of that, and then she would give like another reason, and like a lot of these reasons were like, in all honesty, they were like pretty arbitrary. I feel like she just was trying to find like a way out, and I didn't do I didn't even fucking do her wrong or anything. Like, man, I don't want to get too into it, but it's like, I treated her, like, I gave her everything, and I feel like I was getting taken advantage of near the end, but the worst part about getting taken advantage of is the fact that, like, I know that she was. I can recognize when I'm being fucking used. I'm not an idiot. It's like, I'm not stupid. At least I try not to be. But yeah, I feel like she was just using me near the end, and then because I knew she was using me, but I still let it happen. I think that was the worst part. But it was always just me putting in effort, and then after whatever she asked for, I gave. And then she was staying at my place. She didn't even have to pay rent or nothing. And then everything she would ask for, I'd give it to her, man. She needed to borrow money one time, I gave it to her, man. And it was like the last bit of my cash too. I was like fucked up after, but whatever. Like, she needed it. And then whenever I asked for something or need a favor, some shit, it's always like 90% of the time it was like a no. Or I was like, what the fuck that you expect me to do? You know what? Yeah. That's the reason. I was like, what the fuck? I was confused because I was like, I don't know. And I feel as if she was just trying to give these reasons. So, you know, it doesn't seem as bad. Like, she doesn't seem like the shitty one for just leaving. Like, just bring up a reason or say a reason just so, you know, her actions seem justified and that, like, she wasn't in the wrong. But whatever. Maybe I wasn't in the wrong. But, like, those reasonings did not really make sense. No, fucking think about like specific examples, but it's like shit like from way before, and it's just shit like, oh, something about my road rage and shit like that, or like fuck when I'm driving, like something like that. And then she starts bringing up all these issues or whatever, and I'm like, how the fuck are you not like what? I was like these we've talked about these things before, and then you never said it was a problem or whatever, and then now you're telling me it was. And then this is like the first time too, like a few months before this, it's like where she was gonna break up with me for like, because I wasn't employed at the time, and I was like, what the fuck? I fully talked to you about that too, and I made sure that I was like asked if like you're okay and shit. And you said it wasn't a problem, it was fine, and it's like, cause I was still trying to get my shit together at that point. And I was like around the time after I lost my job and shit, and then I was like, what the fuck? And then yeah, that's what, and she was trying to bring up all these reasons that we talked about before. This was like the first time she broke up. Well, she tried to break up with me, or was going to. And then now, when she fucking left, she's doing the same shit. And it's like, it's out of nowhere, and then you give out very arbitrary reasons. And reasons then issues that we've already discussed. So it's like, what the fuck? And that's why I was confused. But besides the point, yeah, that's how it happened. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So I just wanted to like, I just didn't want to end on bad terms and shit, so I was trying to make the shit like all good after. And then so I don't know, the conversation kind of concluded, or like we kind of ended like still iffy, but it wasn't like terrible. It's because we like talked it out and shit, I guess. I don't know. But then haven't really talked since. And then yeah, and then after I think like 2-3 almost a month after, I think she left some shit here, and then I was like, man, there's still some shit we had to settle if she's really just gonna like cut out like that, you know, because she still had like outstanding fucking shit she owed. She still had stuff here. She still had the money that she owed me for like the last few months of rent that she was staying. I wasn't gonna come after her for that, but then the way she left, I was like so cheesed. I was like, yeah, I was pissed. I was like, fuck it, then you're gonna leave like that, then fine, alright, then I'm gonna come after what I feel is owed to me and that we agreed is owed to me. So, and then there was this and then there was another issue, like well, not issue, but there's this concert that I bought tickets for, and then I paid for both tickets, but she was holding on to them, and so I was like, okay, we got a few things we gotta still settle up on. So then we talked, and then she was just being a complete dick, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I don't know, I felt like that conversation was a little bit, I don't know, she thought I was pissed, and then she thought I hated her and shit like that, and then I was like, nah, man, like I don't think I could hate you. It was just kind of hurt, man. I was like really fucking torn up about everything. So that's the only reason. And then, but she just acted like a complete dick. That last conversation kind of ended off weird. And then she said she was gonna contact me again to give me like the money or whatever. But then she never hit me back up. So then I was like, okay, fine, if that's how it's gonna be. But oh yeah, and then I found out she was back home, out of the country. She went back. And so I was like, oh shit, so you've been there overseas for like fucking last 3 weeks? Yeah, and apparently so. So I was like, alright. She was supposed to come back, but then I don't think she ended up coming back. And then the concert was like 2 months after that conversation. So then I never brought it up, and then she never talked about it. So I was like, okay. So I just waited kind of maybe like a week or a couple of days before the concert, and then I messaged her about them, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need those back. And she was like, what? No, she didn't respond to me. I thought she was just ignoring me, but apparently she was on a plane. She came back here just for the concert, and then I was like, what the fuck? And then she was like, oh, I can send you like money for both of them. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, yeah, because either you pay me for them or you gotta give those back, because I paid for those with my own money. So she ended up paying me for them, and then gave me the rest of the money she owed for like the rent and shit. I was like, alright, cool, we're good, we're settled, whatever. I thought she found someone to go to the concert with. I was like, alright, cool. Then she called me back like fucking like half an hour after the concert started, telling me to like go with her and shit like that. But this is like the start time, not the actual like main event time. But so it was like opening at 7. This was supposed to start at 7. She called me at like 7:30, almost 8. And I was like, what the fuck? So she had no one to go to. She wanted me to go with her. So I was like, man, I wasn't expecting that. I really was not expecting to go to the concert. And I was like, why'd you pay me for both tickets then? I don't know. She was embarrassed, I guess. But I ended up going. We were able to kind of put a bit of closure onto things. And then, yeah. So I thought she was supposedly going back to the Philippines like the week after. I was like, okay, she was going to go to Halifax to visit our cousins or whatever, and then go back home overseas afterwards. So whatever. Week passes, 2 weeks pass, and then I got a call from her like fucking another 2-3 weeks after that. I thought she was back in overseas, but then she called and said she was still in Halifax. I was like, why the fuck are you still here? Apparently she doesn't have money to go back. So I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. She wanted her cousins apparently was going to a fucking concert. I mean, not concert, the party on that weekend. And her cousins wanted some coke. So I was like, what? Okay. So she was going to go fly back here to Toronto, because like she told them that I could get. So she flew all the way back here to Toronto. Fucking just to go pick up the coke and then go back like right after. So I was like, what? Okay. I think that's the last I heard of her. And then I don't know where the fuck. I was waiting for her to hit me up. She came back here apparently. Supposed to come back the week after, but nothing. So I don't know. It brought up some repressed feelings. Not repressed feelings, but like some old feelings that I thought were gone and that I was starting to accept, like, you know, starting to be okay with. But then, man, it fucking sucks. And it's got me all messed up again in the head, but whatever. It's not fucking me up too bad right now. Not as bad as it did before. But it's still kind of like, shit, man. How you going? Fucking come back out here out of nowhere like that and then disappear again. I don't know. And man, it's like, I don't know. And it's not like I expected us to get back together. I don't want that at all. But at the end of the day, she was still like a really cool person to like hang around with and shit and talk with and shit, you know. Like we could hold a conversation for like a while and then, but and talk to her about some shit. But I don't know. I wasn't trying to get back. I didn't think we were gonna get back, but it would still be cool. It was, it was still nice to know that she was still around, you know. Or even if we never talked, but like I knew she was just down the street or some shit. Like, alright, it's cool. But I don't know. I thought maybe we just hit each other up once in a while, catch up and shit. But I don't know, because when I found out that she wasn't going back overseas, it was weird. I was a little bit excited. I was kind of happy to hear that. But I don't know if she is now. And it's kind of the same shit from before. Things hasn't really changed, I guess. Still just contacts you whenever she needs something or wants to, but yeah, whatever happens. I'm not thinking too much about it. It's always just in the back of my head, you know what I mean? And every time I pass by that area or drive by, I always like, man, there's times I pass by there and I'm hoping to run into her. Just, I don't know, on an off chance I catch her. Like, just by chance, on accident. Hasn't happened yet though. And I'm not like going there every fucking day, you know. It's just that if I happen to drive by the area or need to pass by the area, I just kind of slow down, drive a little bit slower, driving through certain parts where she might be. So, but other than that, that's it. Didn't really thing. Other than that, things have been kind of stagnant and boring. Getting a little bit stale. I haven't worked in a bit just because I don't know. Still finding I don't know what it is. I think I'm just still in a slump. But yeah, I need to hit something nice soon because I'm in dire need of some sort of money right now. So next time, probably in the next day or so. I just didn't want to go tonight because then I have court tomorrow morning. Well, tomorrow afternoon. So I thought it would be at 10 or 10:30 a.m. It ended up being at 2 p.m. So I'm like, fuck, I could have went out and worked tonight, but whatever. Maybe tomorrow night and the night after. But I will for sure. Sometime within the next day or two. Have to. Yeah. I keep hitting this mic. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Because this slump sucks. Fucking sucks, dick. And, I don't know. It kind of happens like this. Where I'm on a good high streak. And I'm like doing good. Doing well. And it kind of all just fucks up. I gotta pick myself back up. Find something else. And then let that go on for like a good while. And then do well. And then fucks all over again. And then up and down, forever fated to keep finding something, doing well, and then have it all come crashing down every bloody time. Every fucking bloody time, yeah? It's not even just for a fucking job and fucking career and all that. I'm talking about, like, just in life in general. Lots of fucking shit, every situation always happening that way. And at the end of it all, it just ends up going down to shit. It always fucking goes to bloody shit. I think that's what I mentioned just in the previous episode of South, and it's like, what the fuck is the point of fucking doing anything if it's all just gonna go to shit? Don't know. I guess it's all about trying, right, and never quitting. Maybe it's all about, maybe it's never actually having something last forever that matters, but it's the journey you take and the struggle that you go through trying to get there. Maybe that's where the true meaning lies within that. Maybe that's the part that's worth not giving up. It's all the shit you go through trying to get to where you need or you want to get in life. As the saying does go, it's not about the destination, it's all about the journey, right? Or sorry, it's all about the journey, not the destination. Either way, same shit. Yeah, so maybe that's why I keep trying, because it's still worth it. Because everything that I go through and the time I try to get some, and nothing beats the experience there. It's like a video game, right? Just gotta keep getting as much XP points as we can. Just keep farming, yo. Just keep farming that gold and shit. Attaining that wealth, the gold coins and shit, whatever. But yeah, either way, just gotta keep trying it no matter what. Cause you never know. Take 100 shots, you gotta sink at least one, right? So you just gotta keep shooting at these motherfuckers. Yeah, I mean, fuck. You're bound to hit one if you keep shooting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's not a lot of last few episodes didn't really have a lot of whole crime aspect into it, but this season's kind of more of a more in-depth look into the madness into my mind. So it kind of gets more into my innermost, deepest, and intimate thoughts. It's gonna get real intimate this season and get real deep and reach into some weird shit, maybe. I don't know. Well, it's been pretty in-depth already as it is. I haven't really got that in-depth and that real in a discussion in a long while. So, once again, that's all that it is, right? An outlet. It's doing its job, whether y'all fuckers listen to it or not. So, yeah. But we'll definitely get back to all the crime bullshit and all that good shit, like, in time. I'm just trying to get y'all, I'm just trying to show y'all every side, you know, get all 100 sides of this story. I don't have that many sides. It's like 3 or 4 sides. Y'all get to see every single one exclusively at a very unfiltered and raw way, I guess. I don't know. Either way, it's exclusive as fuck. Yeah. This season, I bear it all in a tell-all, whatever. I don't know. Some shit like that. That'd be like the trailer if I had one. That's all I'm trying to do. Just reach in and my innermost thoughts. Just have at it. Take a look. Take a listen. You know, because there's not a lot of time. It's like there are a lot of chances. Even people that I get to talk to about this shit. So most of the time I have to just keep it in my head. Just have conversations to myself in there, my mind. Just talk to myself, about myself. So I always did. There's actually this thing I used to do back at the house where I'd sit at my desk and then I'd turn around and face the room, and then I'd have the bed and then like another chair or some shit or a corner, and I would imagine myself sitting down on the bed and like standing up in the corner. So there'd be like 3 of us, 3 of me, and if I was like struggling with a problem or had something that I need to figure out, I would talk to my 2 other selves about it, and then I would treat it as if I was talking to like other people, And then I would imagine someone telling me my problem or situation that I'm trying to figure out, like telling me about it as if it was theirs and I was hearing it from somebody else, but it's my issue, right? If you get what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's like I'm hearing it from somebody else, and then I try to, and I'd kind of try and think of how I would help somebody if they were telling me that problem, and then be like, okay, cool. Because I don't know, maybe I feel like I find a solution to other people's problems faster than I can find a solution to my own problems. I'm like a Hitch in that way. If you ever seen the movie Hitch, where it's like the greatest matchmaker, but he sucks at matchmaking himself. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the things, kind of methods or techniques I would use to figure problems out, and it's worked really well for me in the past. But I found out later on that just like about, I used to do this a lot, like growing up too. I wouldn't visualize it so like realistically till I got older, but I would always do it in my head, imagine the whole conversation in my head. Yeah, but then I think like 2 years ago, I found out from one of my friends, well, because I told him that I did that shit, because he was trying to ask me about how I calm, or like how I'm able to figure situations out or some shit like that. I forgot what he asked me necessarily, but I ended up telling him that I think he was asking me about self-awareness, and because he said that I apparently seem very self-aware. I guess I am, but he was asking me about that, and then I would just tell him shit of how, like, the different ways I would think about certain things, and then I told him about that method I would do. Also, like, that's how I kind of learned things about myself as well. But, and then, so about like a month or two after I told him that, he came and he was telling me about how he was reading some like psychology textbook or article or some shit, some psychology shit, and he was saying how that's actually like a therapeutic method and not a method of treatment or some shit like that, like a psychology method where, yeah, you envision yourself talking to yourself or some shit like that. That's what he was saying. I was like, oh fuck, yeah. Those are one of the many things that I do naturally that I didn't know that, and then later I would hear that it's in some sort of shit and it's an actual like technique or method that's being taught to people. I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so that's just like an interesting fact. Yeah, there's like other shit like that. What else? There's another one where, fuck, I had it in my head, I forgot what it was, it slipped my mind, but it was something like some sort of like bargaining or some shit like that, where we're trying to get sort of information out of people. And then growing up, like talking to people, certain people, I noticed that, fuck, what was it? I don't know. Oh, it's when I noticed that certain, like when you're talking to somebody, I noticed a lot of like different social cues I've noticed, and different ways you say shit or word it, they all elicit a different kind of reaction if you word the same shit differently. And there's a lot of like social shit that I've noticed about people and stuff like that, and later on I found out, I was like, oh shit, these are actual like, you know, things that some people teach and shit. But there's one thing, it's like I noticed, and this was from when I was younger too, is that when you're talking to somebody, and then if you kind of single them out, if you're telling them about shit they can improve on, or shit that you didn't like that they did or something like that, and I noticed that if you single them out when you're explaining it and then saying, oh yeah, you know, you do this or you do that and this is what you do, or sometimes you're like this, I don't like when you do this, they react negatively to it, obviously, because then they seem like you're attacking them, or like you're kind of, you know, being critical of their character and shit. But it's like, nah dude, it's like I'm just trying to voice out that yeah, there's these certain things that bothered me, or like there's certain things that you could improve on. Take it as it is, but I'm not trying to fucking, like, I'm not trying to talk down on your character or who you are as a person. It's just like certain shit, you know what I mean? There's gonna be certain things about everybody that you don't like necessarily are a big fan of, but that's like life. That's everybody. You gotta learn to adapt to that shit. But what I notice is that if you include yourself within those faults, like, they'll be so okay with it, you know, and they'll accept it, and they're a lot more accepting of it, you know, because I think it's because because since you're including yourself in that, doesn't seem so critical of them and who they are, right? So for example, it's like there's this one dude, and there's this one guy I just try a lot of these, man, because he's not the sharpest tool on the shelf, but some of these things, when I try to, like, I notice something, I'll kind of try it again later on to see if it actually is a thing, and then yeah. So I noticed that when I would tell him, I'd be like, yo, dog, you know, sometimes you can be like this way, or like, you know, you can do that. He's like, no, I'm not. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not even like that. I'm fully flat on deny it when, like, it's clear that we just saw you doing that exact same thing. And then he's like, no, I don't do that, man, whatever. And he's so defensive. But later on, I was like, okay, let me see if he reacts differently. Because there was another time where I was like, yo, I kind of included myself in there too. And he kind of like took it well. So I was like, okay, let me try that thing with the issue I had before, where he denied it like flat out. So I waited a bit, and he's forgetful, right? He's a dumbass. And I tried it again, and I was like, yo, you know, I notice you're like this a lot of the time, but I do the same thing. I was like, I know I do the same thing too, and I just had to learn that It's the exact same thing I told him before that he did, and he flat out denied it and said he didn't do it. But then when I said that, oh yeah, you know what, it's something I do myself as well sometimes, whatever, when I said it that way, this guy was like, oh, man, yeah, you know, yeah, I noticed I could do that too, whatever. He's like, yeah, I get you, I get what you're saying, man, and don't worry, it's all good, yo, and I was like, this motherfucker. And yeah, and I noticed that if I do that, I thought it was just like him, but then when I started doing it with other people, or trying it with other people, I was like, oh shit, it is just something that, you know, it's the thing with like fucking almost everybody. If you include so if you, I don't know if you could try it out, but just from my experience, I'm not saying that I didn't do no like fucking scientific study or it's like some sort of fucking focus group. This is me talking to like regular people and then slipping in these opportunities to try test these theories whenever the opportunity comes up, kind of shit, you know. So don't quote me on that, I'm just speaking from experience. But also later on, I read it in some sort of like, or I saw it on a YouTube video. Some guy was like, yeah, if you say it that way or some shit like that, it was kind of like some sort of conversation technique. But I was like, oh, okay, cool, like, yeah. So pretty crazy, but yeah, I don't know what that necessarily means. Maybe it's just like I can figure shit out better than the average person. And definitely, I feel like I'm definitely not as sharp as I should be, though, because as sharp as my mind is right now, I feel it's like I feel like it could have been a lot sharper, because when I was growing up, I felt a lot like more quick, more thing than, you know, drugs and shit. But hey, man, if I could take that amount of drugs and alter my mind that amount of times and still come out as sharp as I am right now, yo, dog, maybe it was a good thing I dulled my mind a bit, you know. I don't think the world would be ready for that kind of mental acuity. I'd be be too much power for me. I had to dumb it down a bit, you know. Let's think of it that way. But yeah, I get pretty good with fucking figuring shit out too, by just like slightly observing things. Like if I see someone do a repeated action or like a move or something, I can kind of like just eyeball it, take a look, and kind of analyze it visually, and if it's like reasonably within my physique or abilities or capabilities, like I'm most of the time I'm able to kind of figure out how they do a certain action and be able to kind of repeat it almost the same way. Obviously not everything. It's like I can't fucking watch Steph Curry take a fucking 3 from half court and then just do it, you know what I mean? It has to be like within like a reasonable task that's within my capabilities and limitations. So it's like I can't just say that, oh, I watch a bird fly and then I just try, but nah. Like, okay, when I was growing up, I watched a lot of like cooking shows when I was younger. So like around 8 or 9. And you know that pan flip where they toss shit in a frying pan when they're sauteing and they flip it in the air back into the pan? And I forgot what I call that. But yeah, they do it with like utensils, like they're mixing that shit. They like flip the food inside whatever you're cooking and it flies in the air and then it falls back down in the pan. It like rotates. That's how they mix their shit. Yeah. So growing up, I would see that all the time on the chef shows, and I'm like, yo, that looks shit. Like that. I mean, that shit looks dope. Like I want to be able to do that. I was like, man, that must be hard. But almost every fucking cooking show, that's how they mix their shit, right? So almost every show, someone's doing that exact same motion. So I've watched it probably like a lot over maybe like about a year or so. I don't know, but I just keep seeing them doing it over and over again. And I was like, man, if I were to do that, like, how would it be possible? Like, how do they do it? So whenever I'd see them do that motion, I would kind of like look at it and see like which direction and how high they go with the pan angle and shit. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, for me to get the food that I'm cooking to do this motion and come back down in the pan, I would have to kind of like push it up and kind of risk flick it to kind of make it come back and do the motion in the air to come back onto the pan. Like I did this all like, yeah, I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but yeah, like I kind of did like the reasoning in my head, and I was like, how would it be possible realistically to do this? And then I broke it down in my head, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I feel like, I was like, okay. So if I were to try it, that's what I would have to do, and that's what would have to happen for me to be able to successfully accomplish that move. So time goes by, and I think one time I was cooking and I had the opportunity to like saute some shit, and I was like, fuck, I wonder if I could do it. And I think this was maybe like a year and a half later, but I specifically remember, right, this is the first time, and I have never tried this move before this, ever, not once. I've just been watching it on the Food Network, watching almost every fucking show back to back, like with a chef do this shit. And so a year and a half later, I'm there, and I'm like, fuck, okay, so remember, this is how you have to do it, this is how you have to do it. So I did it once, light motion, and the food kind of did the same motion that I wanted to, but I didn't flick it as high, so I went kind of like, just maybe like an inch or two off the pan. And I was like, oh, okay, so I think I can. I was like, alright, so I got it to do it that high. I was like, let me try and do it higher. So I flicked a little bit harder, and boom, went up, and like, perfect. Went back down on the pan, boom, perfect. First try. No word of a lie. I really tell that like story to a lot of people, but I think I told it maybe 1 or 2 times. But yeah, because I don't want to feel like I'm bragging or something. Like, I'm so, no, dude, it's just, I broke it down. I knew how to figure it out. But yeah, my first like actual try, I got it. I never really fucked up with that. After that, I was able to do it flawlessly. I've never like obviously like if I'm fooling around and shit, like trying to do it fast, like I've probably like maybe spilled a bit or so, but I never did any major fuck up like trying to get it down. Like I got it down after like, the first try. Yeah, that was pretty dope. That's actually one of the accomplishments I was proud of, because after that like if people are around or if I'm cooking somewhere else or if I was like cooking at someone else's place and I would do it, like, oh shit, you could do that, da da da. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it probably took you a while to learn that shit. I was like, yeah. Let's put it that way. they think I've practiced a lot, but I'm not gonna like fucking brag and be like, nah, yo, first try. But nah. So it's fine. At the end of the day, it's like I don't need to tell people or like show off about it. To me, just knowing that I did it for myself, yeah, I'm cool with it. I know I did. It's like, doesn't matter what anybody else thinks because I know that for a fact. So yeah. So I feel like I'm able to break shit down and kind of realistically figure things out, kind of thing. Maybe that's why I'm pretty good with figuring problems and issues out and seeing how things work. I don't know. That's just me. Just something I've observed throughout time. And, I guess, yeah. And I've always thought about self-awareness too and shit like that. And I was like, I didn't know what to call it or put that name into, but that's later on I found out. I was like, man, oh, okay, that's self-awareness, because I always felt that way. The way they described it, I was like, oh shit, I guess I can be pretty self-aware, I guess. I don't know. And then other times I'm like, maybe I'm not, but I don't know. But either way, I guess I still am at times, whether I'm them or not at all times, but whatever. You need that shit, right? Because able to survive in a place like this, man. Same place where silence can be deafening, which means that a little bit of madness can also be sanity at times, no? Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. So, I hope you all have a good night. Thank you again for joining me on another edition of In the Mind of Madness. So keep living, y'all. Keep laughing, learning, living, loving, laughing, hustling, grinding, doing all that shit, you know what I mean? We're getting there. I'm gonna put that in order nice. I'll get that catchphrase right. But yeah, keep doing all that shit. Keep doing y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one, huh? Take it easy. See you in a little bit, yeah? Peace.